Well, it's been an interesting last few days. I never thought this was going to turn into a vlog channel. I always just thought I was going to be blogging about different subjects and whatever. But, I'm thinking that if I don't talk about some of the things that happen, then there's going to be other folks who are going to run into some of the same kinds of things and not know what to do with it. And I'm not going to say that I've handled everything perfectly, but at least I can share my story. So just after I did the video last week talking about what it's like after 6 weeks of physical therapy after having the shoulder surgery, I get a call Friday at 3:30 from this place where my mother is for rehab, telling me that as of that day, they're giving me the 3-day notice that she's going to be discharged and that she has to be gone from there by at least 10:30 on Tuesday morning. And I'm thinking, wait, what? Now, here's the thing. I actually know how part of this works. What happens is that a lot of facilities will do an assessment. They will get together on one day of the week and talk about all the people in rehab, and how they assess. Are they improving? Can there be more improvement? Are they stagnant? Do they have to stop? And they do that because Medicare, if it's Medicare, actually it's pretty much for all insurances, but Medicare is really the big dog that drives this. Medicare basically allows 20 days up front, just we've got this. And then you have to send them a report saying, okay, is there improvement or is there something going on? And if there's improvement, then they will cover more days, up to 100 days. Well, in this case, since they messed up the first 2 weeks by not knowing how to get her out of bed, they had to extend that period a little bit. But now they were at a point where they're saying that, okay, this is as good as it's going to get. So they do this. Now I kind of have to scramble because I had no idea that they were thinking about this, because they do their evaluations on Thursdays. So think about that. They evaluate on Thursday. They call people on Friday. Sorry about that. And then folks have to actually pick up the loved ones by Tuesday. So they get Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Those are the 3 days. And then you have to pick them up on that fourth day by a certain time. Otherwise, the facility can charge you for another day and it comes out of your pocket. So I'm thinking, okay, they're ready to discharge her. They've had 2 weeks to walk her, do some other things with her. It should be fine. And they had this thing where they said they were worried because it's just going to be you by yourself, where there's been 2 people with her the entire time here. And I'm thinking, well, if you've got her back to how she was, I was handling her by myself beforehand, and my next door neighbors are going to be coming over to help me out. Should be fine. So we get to Monday. Monday, I have physical therapy, but I also have to meet with the surgeon for my shoulder. So I meet with the surgeon. He gives me a couple of new medications to help inflammation and to help with a little bit of the pain. I told him, yes, I'm, having some more pain as physical therapy is getting more intense. So he gives me something for that. So then I go to physical therapy and I do everything. And I happen to mention my mother's going to be coming home. And she says, just make sure you don't lift your mother with your right arm. And I said, I have no intention of doing it. Famous last words. So I'm thinking I'm still going to be going to pick up my mother, but they call me at 3:00 on Monday. What is with these people? But they call me at 3:00 on Monday and say, well, we were talking with the therapist and they're uncomfortable. They're not sure they can get your mother into the car. I'm thinking, what kind of nonsense is this? Mom's used to getting into the car. She knows how to get in the car by herself. But no, they're saying they want to send her home by transport. So I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? Let them do that. That way, if transport needs to get, to get her in the house because she hadn't been here a while, at least that's taken care of. Go ahead, send the transport. I have to pay for transport, by the way. But okay, I can handle that. So now we're up to Tuesday morning. And I've been going around making the house mom friendly. Not that it wasn't before, but she'd been gone for a while. So some things have been moved around. I wanted to change, a couple of things in her bedroom on the chair because she sleeps in a reclining lift chair. I was just going around doing all kind of stuff. And also, I found out that the place where mom was actually called someone else to set up for them to come to the house to offer home physical therapy. I'm like, okay, I didn't know about that, but that's fine because it's the same people who came 4 years ago when my mother had the heart attack. I trust them. So that sounds okay. Then I get a call an hour later from my mother's doctor's office where this woman says, so you have an appointment scheduled for next Wednesday. So I didn't make any appointment for next Wednesday. There's nothing on my calendar. She says, oh, well, the facility called. I said, why would they do that? They said, well, when they do a discharge, they're supposed to contact the doctors. And they said that they thought that the doctor should do an evaluation of your mother. I said, but she's not even in the house yet. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get her there. I need to see how she's moving. I've got to do my own evaluation. She says, okay, well, we'll schedule it for a few weeks back, and that should give you enough time. I said, okay, fine. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on that I don't know about, but there you go. So she gets home about 10:10 Tuesday morning. There's one guy driving an ambulance, because they bring it back in something that looks like an ambulance. And he gets her out. She's in the wheelchair. And so we go greet her, and she's just mom. She's just mom. And now I got to get her in the house. And there's three of us because my neighbor's husband came over just to offer backup. He says, what do I do? I said, you stand in front of the walker. You do that because I'm not sure how we're going to do. I haven't seen her in a while. Able to get her up the steps. There's only 2 steps. Thank goodness. Able to get her hands on the walker. Great. I'm behind her, guiding her the way that, whenever she seemed a little bit nervous, the way that I do it. Guiding her to the chair in the living room. Walking. Fine. Then it turns out she doesn't know how to turn around. She doesn't know how to walk backwards. Initially, we don't know why she can't do this. But we eventually get her in the chair, although I had to move the chair up because, I wasn't expecting that she wasn't going to be able to do this maneuver the way that she had always done it. So it's the big, reclining chair. Pulled this thing way out so that we didn't have to take her to the chair. We brought the chair to her, sat her down in the chair, reclined it, fine. Put in one of her favorite movies, Matilda, because she likes yelling at people. Because I wanted to see, how she was with her cognitive features. So they leave. And she says that she's going to come back in a couple of hours and we'll take mom to the bathroom because we don't know if they took her or anything. So mom watches the movie. She's yelling at people the right way. I'm saying, yep, that's her. That's mom. We're good. Now it's time to take her to the bathroom. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take her to the bathroom. So I get the walker and I get her up and she gets up okay. And we go to the bathroom. And, she's a little shaky, but, like I said, I'm good with this because I'm prepared for that. I'm holding her more with the left arm, but I've got the right arm there, just balancing her. Get her in there, get her on the toilet. Not perfect on the toilet, but she's on the toilet, which is a good deal. Now, you know what, just tell it like it is. She'd had a bowel movement. So what I was doing beforehand was when she had that, and it was also in the underwear, I would get her up, wash her off, get her over to the sink, and then totally wash her every time. Well, this is the first day back. I'm not sure if she's going to keep her hands on the sink. So I call the neighbor, say, okay, I got her in the bathroom, but she had this movement. I'd like a little backup. So she comes over to back me up. And her husband comes also, but he stays out there because he doesn't want to come to the bathroom to see this. So we do that. We get her up off the toilet. She's a little fussy. It took both of us to kind of get her over, but she had done this thing where she had crossed her right foot behind her left leg. No idea. She never did that before when she was home, but she did that when I went to the rehab facility after she fell out of bed the first time. So I'm thinking it's still related to that. And like I said, we get her cleaned up. We now have to figure out how to get her back out because we're hesitant about trying to get her to use the walker because she's just, fraught. And this thing with the leg, no idea. So we get the wheelchair in there. We figure out how to get her to sit in the wheelchair. We get her out there and I say, okay, I've already get this part figured out. So this time I took the wheelchair and I turned it one way. I had the walker. I said, what we're going to do is we're going to stand her up. She's going to put her hand on the walker. We're going to take 2 steps forward and then I'm going to shift her around and she'll be in the chair. and I had backed the chair up during one of the times I came out. Worked perfectly. I said, yes, we got that down. Thank you all for coming. So now I'm waiting about 3.5 hours later. I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. We got in the bathroom the first time. Everything is good. So I'm taking her to the bathroom. We're walking. Everything's kind of going okay. As soon as we go through the bathroom door, all of a sudden, she is kind of ready to go down. Only instead of like she's been doing, where when she wants to fall backwards. Because I'm prepared for that. I'm bigger than her. I'm kind of holding her forward. She starts falling forward. Well, I'm not prepared for that. And I took a quick look down, and the right foot was behind the left leg. Like, oh, goodness. So she's going down, but it's really slowly. I'm holding on to her. I've got my right arm. Although I'm not lifting her, like I'm trying to balance it off, I can't hold her. I mean, mom's not a lightweight. And so I just slowly put her down. And her upper plate for her dentures falls out. Has not been out in 2 years. I'm thinking, oh, goodness, this can't be good. So I call the neighbors. We can't figure out how to get mom up because she's in the bathroom. This is a little short space. So I call 911. So 911 comes. They get her up, get her on the toilet. We do some stuff. They make some recommendations because there's this big shelf thing that we have in the bathroom. They said, you need more room to move her around. We're going to pull this out. And so 3 of them pull that out because I can't help. I still don't have, I don't have the right arm to help. But they pull this out. Luckily, I had emptied it last year. So it was lighter, as long as they had more people to move it around. They moved some stuff around. We now have some room. So after mom has done her thing, I said, you know what? I'm not taking her back out to the living room. I'm going to put her in a lift chair in her bedroom. We're just going to put her in there and relax her in there. So take her in there. She's tired. I'm tired, but I still need to give her her pills. So I put her dessert together and I go in there and she only eats the 1 spoonful on her own. And then she's just not going to do the rest of it. So I start feeding to her and I don't mind that. That was a sometime thing, but only half of it because she has no uppers and it's pudding. So it shouldn't have any problem to eat it. But then she goes to sleep thinking, okay, we've got a good night. So later on, I go to bed around midnight. I wake up at 3 on the dot, fully awake. And this is yesterday morning, Wednesday morning. I wake up fully awake and I check the camera feed and mom is awake and she's watching the TV because she needs to fall asleep with something on. So I said, I'm going to go in and put on one of these relaxing nature videos that should help calm her down so she can get back to sleep. So I go in there, I do that, and I come back, and I'm just laying there in the bed, and I'm fully awake. I'm not close to tired. And I'm watching the feed, and she's dozing off, and then waking up a little bit, watching, dozing off. That was the pattern until around 7:30 or so. Because my neighbor was coming over because I had an eye appointment. Why? Because I have a floater in my right eye, which I got on my birthday in 2020, or 2020. Yes, that's right. So I had that appointment for a while. I couldn't cancel it. So she came over and we have to work to get her into the bathroom. She stands up okay, but she's a little shaky with the walker once again. But this time I say, okay, Chris, stand in front of the walker. I'm going to hold her like I do, and we'll go to the bathroom and just stand in front. And if she looks like she's going to go forward, just push her back on the shoulders. We get her in the bathroom. I stop. And suddenly she's got this thing where she feels like she's going to go forward. I said, Chris, push her back. So she pushes her back and I look down and sure enough, the right foot is behind the left leg again. I'm like, what is this? So we get her on the toilet. I said, you don't have tons of time because I have to, get myself ready to go to an appointment, make it a quick wash, nothing really deep. So we get that done, take her back out to the living room. And now, once again, we're having trouble getting her into the big chair. So Chris says, you don't really have enough time. Why don't I just leave her in the wheelchair? I'll leave her in the wheelchair. I'll feed her from there because there's nowhere to put the tray or anything. She says, I'll take care of that. I said, okay, I'm not sure what you're going to give her because she doesn't have the upper plate in because we couldn't get her to open her mouth. That's how come we hadn't taken it out for 2 years. She says, I'll give her some of the cereal that you have. I'll let it soften up first. I said, okay, fine. So I go to my appointment. I'm there a little over an hour. The guy says, oh, yes, you have the floater, but you don't have any cloudiness in your eye. So it's not a big deal yet, but keep an eye on that. He says that. So we do that. So I go home, and then, Chris goes back home, and this lady from the home health that does physical therapy, occupational therapy, a couple other things in the house, she comes over because I'm waiting for her. So when she comes in, I said, okay, before we do anything else, I need to tell you a story. So we sit down at the dining room table, and I spend about 35 minutes telling her the story about being at the hospital, about the rehab facility, about people not doing records, about stuff that I saw that I had a feeling they were missing. And then it turns out that because I hadn't read the records that had been sent to me from the facility, they forgot to include incident reports of mom falling. Now, in New York State, that is pretty much law. You have to write up incident reports, and you're supposed to supply it to the family. They had to call me, which they did call me. That's how come I know about it. But they were supposed to give me something. There's none of that in any of this paperwork. As a matter of fact, in the paperwork, there's nothing about mom's foot going behind her left leg. But they saw at the same time I did. That should have been in what I was doing. So now she's mad because she said, well, I have what you have. So they left a whole lot of stuff out. She convinces me mom should go to the hospital, to the emergency room. Why? Because if I take her to the emergency room, they will actually then do everything that needs to be done. They will take her up to x-ray. They will get the lab test. They will do all that in the emergency room. It's all covered by insurance. And now there's at least a few more people who are on it. It's early enough in the day because at this point it's around 2 o'clock. I would recommend that. I call 911. Come on, take mom to the hospital. So these two younger people come in, and they're having trouble getting mom out of the chair, and I felt so much better. I hate to say that, but I was just feeling so guilty. I'm having trouble moving my mother, and I should be ashamed of myself. I should be able to do this even with a bad arm. They had trouble. So I said, okay, that's just kind of how it is. So anyhow, they get her there. They had to wait about 30 minutes or so. Well, actually, they had to wait an hour. I left about 30 minutes after they did because I had to pull some things together. I get there. They're out there still waiting for mom to get a room. And I'm talking to this doctor and, answering a couple of questions. But he says, I'll wait till she gets a room and we'll go deeper into this. So she eventually gets the room. And then with basically in that first hour and a half, activity galore. I mean, my goodness, all kind of nurses, all kind of aides. The doctor comes in at one point. They're going to run her to x-ray. They're going to run her to CT. Really, a whole bunch of activity. And then when they bring her back, nothing. Nothing for almost 4 hours. Like, wow, that just died down. And the thing is, mom is just kind of sitting there kind of nonchalant, what she's supposed to do. I'm sitting there. I'm exhausted because I've been up since 3. Even though I did eat something quick, I'm way under caloried. I just am. So I'm hot, but she's cold. And eventually now someone comes in and, what the doctor says is, well, there's some testing we want to do, but we can't do it in the evening at the hospital. We can only do it in the morning. It makes no sense to send her back home and then have to bring her back. So we're going to admit her for the night so we can start doing some of these things in the morning. He says she did not break her leg because that was one of the worries that we'd had, that maybe she had a fracture in her leg or something, or the hip. She didn't have that. But he says, we weren't sure with the CT scan. We thought maybe there was something there, but we're not sure. We're going to run some other tests. We need to also see, she might have had a mini stroke. Well, okay, now, you hear that, and that's kind of freaky. It's like, wait, what? He said, but she's had it before. I said, no, she hasn't. He says, well, I thought she had. I said, no, she had a heart attack. She's never had a stroke. Still, you hear the word stroke, you're not sure, but you hear mini or, minor. Those are at least, that gives you some kind of thing, says, okay, maybe this is just something that can will be okay, because usually they're short term. So then the next thing is they have to bring in these people to find a vein so that they can start putting some liquid into her. That was a 15-minute adventure. And mom was screaming, which is what she does. I told them, I hope you can do this. They said, well, if we can't, then we can't keep her here, because that's the reason we need to do it, to do the test in the morning. So now I'm thinking, okay, please, get it done. Get it done. We don't want to go back home this late at night. They get it done. And so then the hospitalist comes in to talk to me about a few things and says, yep, everything should be good. And when you come in tomorrow, you can come in at any time, because you get to special pass because your mother has cognitive issues. She has dementia. So she can't communicate with them. So I have the carte blanche to go in whenever I want to. And there you go. So then I come home. I stop at Burger King, get their chicken sandwich, the original chicken sandwich. It is not as good as it used to be. Come in the house, eat my thing, do my physical therapy, go to bed because I'm tired. Ended up leaving the keys in the door. Luckily, the garage door was down, but still I left the keys in the door. Because this morning I woke up 3:15, realized the alarm wasn't on. I'm going to turn the alarm on, no keys. So it took me about 10 minutes to figure out where the keys were, and now I'm wide awake. So once again, I've been up for a while already. I can handle it. So at some point, I'll go see mom. We'll see what other tests they do, see what they come up with. I hope that they don't see anything that said she had a stroke and that she gets to come home. If she does, I hope that they say it's just a mini stroke and they can do something there for her in the hospital, because when she was there before, they were infusing her for a urinary tract infection. And I guess they can do some other things that are different if they think it was a stroke, because that means that maybe there was a, blood clot somewhere that slowed things up. And so they give something there to try to dissolve that and get everything running back to normal. That's where I'm at. So anyway, all about mom, except for my couple little incidences in there. Will the adventure continue? It will in some way. Will it continue to come in my favor? Right now it's looking 40 to 60 against me, but we will see what happens. Anyway, my name is Mitch Mitchell. Like I said, I'm hoping this is going to turn into a blog thing, or vlog thing, as it will. But it is what it is. I'll talk to y'all later. Hope you have a wonderful day.